What are the long-term impacts of children or teens, especially at that young developing age, are exposed to massive amounts of pornography?
So this is sort of the million-dollar question in research. We really can't know for sure until we have really solid longitudinal studies. However, what we do know now is that the brains of men, this kind of research hasn't been done in women, who use a lot of pornography, who have been masturbating to porn for long periods of time, their brains are very different from men who haven't. So the area of the brain that gets excited or is motivated, that feels pleasure, is much less dense than men who haven't been using porn for very long or just sort of sporadically. And which shows that they need a little bit more to get excited. Also, people who are using a lot of porn, their brains react very similarly to pornographic images in the way that alcoholics' brains react to alcohol. So that's a really interesting study. And then the third study is that physiologically the brain reacts very differently while masturbating to porn than it does when you're just masturbating from fantasy. So, so these sort of three studies sort of indicate that there could be something physiologically that porn might actually be changing the way somebody's sexual response cycle works. But you know, we can't know that for sure because we can't randomly assign people to years of porn use. But you know, there has been one longitudinal study in the Netherlands where they've looked at adolescent porn use and then later adult sexual satisfaction. And those that were using porn in adolescence were less sexually satisfied in their emerging adulthood. So that could be a potential issue to look out for. And then there's also a host of studies that show some correlation between viewing a lot of pornography and having more negative attitudes towards women, or more endorsement of the rape myth, which is this idea that, you know, a woman is responsible for her own rape. So, you know, we can't say that porn is causing these outcomes, but there's certainly building evidence that would make us want to really educate our youth about the potential effects of pornography and just really trying to understand how it is contributing to their development. But those are sort of the risk factors that are potentially out there.
And what about just even increasing kind of the onset age of sexual activity or condom usage?
Yeah, so there has been a couple studies that have shown that adolescents who use porn are less likely to use condoms, that they start sex earlier. Again, we can't say that porn causes those things, but it's certainly something to really think about and pay attention to.